Hey YouTube, and here's the result of my guitar safari. Not what I said it was, or not what I thought it was. It's not a 1993, it's a 2000 model. They made this, the rg470, in 1993 in Japan, and then they moved to Korea, and then in 2000 they went back to Japan. So, yes, so obviously being a super snob, the Japanese thing becomes a bit of a no-brainer, really. Just looking at it, it's like it's got the Gotoh tuners on it, and I've tried looking up Gotoh tuners. They're not cheap. So we've got a low TRS trem, and this is the time to look and go. That's a low TRS trem 2. Doesn't look very different. There might not be a huge difference between a low TRS and a low TRS trem 2, but there you go. It's actually, the guitar is pretty much the same guitar as the PGM. It's a 2003. So we've got the Wizard neck, which is supposedly thinner than it is. Yes, okay, yeah. This one does definitely have the PGM neck on it then, which is meant to be exactly the same, apart from 2mm thicker, and it feels 2mm thicker. Yeah, so it's got the actually of interest was this has got a new type of truss rod on it, the RG for the Wizard neck. That's how they managed to get it so thin here. They had to technological advancements to make that work for the Wizard neck. So we've got the clamp, Floyd Rose, got an angled back headstock. It's bolted on that thing here. So we've got a scarf joint. This has the wee faces in it, which sounds like I'm going nuts, but I think it's to do with the cut of wood you get. You get like a wee thing. It kind of always reminds me of like a totem pole with lots of wee faces on top of each other, which you get on certain guitars. This one, my Schecter bass, was the one I always remember having it, and then gradually through the years I keep finding other guitars that I've got the same thing. It's to do with the angle of it or something, but it's always good guitars that I've got. You never see it in shite ones. Seymour Duncan's. 3 Seymour Duncan's. Obviously this has been modded. This should be an HSH layout, and somebody, you can see if you look inside it, it has been well routed, so it's been done. Someone spent either a lot of time or got it done professionally. I'd imagine they probably had to move the bridge pickup a wee bit, like only a couple of millimeters closer to the bridge. Comparing it to the PGM, it's like we're talking a millimeter more of there's more wood between the pickup ring and the bridge on that as there is in this, so it's not moved very much at all. Currently it's just wired up. Oh, I don't actually even know, but I want to put automatic coil splits in it, so I get basically the same as I get on that, apart from in the middle position it's a humbucker, and it's the middle humbucker rather than being the neck pickup, the single coil in the middle. But everything else I want to auto coil split in positions 2 and 4, but I want it to auto coil split the middle pickup and the outside. I've never heard of that being done before. I'm trying to bend around it in my head, but I'm really just going to have to poke about and see if it works. Like that. So we've got the basswood body. This is quite a basic model. It's kind of like the principles I like in a guitar, kind of like the wee Red Star as well. You've got the made in Japan, so it's very well made, but it doesn't really have any fancy bits. There's no binding, there's no fretboard inlays. It's just got the bare minimum for what it needs, apart from obviously it's been modified with an extra pickup. The temptation is to sell the pickups and basically end up with the guitar not quite free, but very nearly free. I think the pickups are worth sort of 60 quid each. 60, 120. Getting the guitar for borderline nothing. I was actually looking up last night just out of interest. So we're in the Squire Affinity series new. If you're if you're rather than that, you buy a Japanese 2000s guitar. It kind of fits in well with I was talking about that, but yeah, it's got to the point now where guitars from the early 90s are now vintage and worth money again. And I was like, but that's 30 years, it can't be that. So it's basically about 15, 20 years is when a guitar gets as cheap as it's going to get, and then they start going up again. So this is right at the peak. So I would have said this, basically, if you're looking to get the best value guitar, as in the best for the cheapest, look at a guitar that's 15 or 20 years old. Basically something like this, about 23, isn't it? So you're that kind of ballpark. a 2000s Ibanez RG Japan you can pick up for less than a Squire Classic vibe, and instead of having a Squire Classic vibe, you've got a pro level guitar, and there's nobody is going to tell you that this isn't a pro level guitar. It's an Ibanez RG. It's straight up as pro as you can get. Not the super most exciting one, just being all black, but I don't know, I'm kind of quite liking it. Let's see what it sounds like then. So this is an Invader. I don't know what the other two pickups are yet. I've not taken it to bits, but they are different. This one has they're both bridge pickups. No, the middle one's a bridge pickup, but it's got hex pulls on the north coil and screw pulls on the south coil, so that probably makes it a something. But the Invader's got the big pulls, so it's and it's so rare for me to get a guitar in that doesn't need anything done to it. The trem was blocked with coins, 1Ps wrapped in sellotape. So I basically unblocked it. And the thing was, because it was in tune, anyway, all I did was just tune it using the claws on the back. Bingo, done. It's much better nick than the Paul Gilbert. This one, the frets have no wear on them. I don't even think it's possible they've been redressed professionally to make them look brand new. I think this guitar's just never really been played. It's a really thin neck though. It's wizard, man. So position 2, which I don't think does any splitting. Maybe it does actually. It sounded a little bit singly, innit? It's possible it's actually. It's not. No, it's just basically putting them both on as humbuckers. But because they're both on, it's giving it a sort of more singly coil than it was before. Then the middle pickup. Position 4. I'm gonna double check this isn't coil splitting either. It does not. Gonna be awfully tempted to do that tonight actually, just to sit and mess about with this. I'm in the studio tonight. Then the neck pickup. Pickups are very high. A bit of bass on it. And yes, the wee red bass has been relegated a little bit. Look at the colour of this. Hey, look. Come on. Okay, not getting good at doing this yet. Maybe it's because it's not the wee red bass is getting back at me. Not as scary as the Paul Gilbert, this one. I think just because it's not the Paul Gilbert one, I don't feel as much I have to be able to play like Paul Gilbert. Red! I wonder if I could tighten up this bolt. Okay, a wee bit of fidget and spin there. This keeps falling down. It's annoying. yeah, so proper instrument. And I mean, I know it doesn't have. I totally get that it doesn't look as cool as Strats and Tellies and stuff like that. It's got a bit of a compared to, you know, you get like a big Harley Davidson, which is a great big super cool looking bike, and then you get like a sort of Japanese race bike which does twice the speed, but isn't as laid back and cool looking. But this is Formula One car, just no fat on it, just rock. I'm missing a little bit. This particular wiring way, because it doesn't have any single coil sounds in it, it's not super versatile, so it will be. I don't know what I'll do with the pickups. So I've been tempted just to sell them and basically end up with a free guitar, because I've got plenty of pickups kicking about. But I mean, I'm enjoying it just now. I think I prefer these pickups to what's in the PGM actually, the C5 one. A bit more forgiving. And I need to do something about this trem bar being a little bit on the floppy side. It's also not as instantaneous as I would like it to be. It might just be a case of tightening up. Probably have to take the back off it again, tighten up that bolt in the front, but holding, I think there's an Allen key on the back as well. So this one has a glossy neck, which is nice. I would say it's glossy, yeah. No, it's not super glossy, but it's not a satin one. It's kind of, maybe it's just a wee bit worn in. But as I was saying in the video in the car there, it's like I couldn't find anything wrong with it. I went over there to haggle, so that took the wee amp over, so I'm going to haggle if I can find anything wrong with it. I can't find anything wrong with it at all, apart from it's got 3 humbuckers, but I mean, I knew that. So I'm not going to, you know, the guy even said that there's some chips around the body. I mean, really not really. There's a few wee dinks kind of kicking around about here sort of thing, but not an awful lot. Less than every other guitar I own. But yes, this one's been a wee bit of a revelation for me a little bit, because I've just feared that thing. I've had that for more than 6 months. I bought it at Christmas, or I bought it in Hogmanay actually, on New Year's Day, and okay, it didn't arrive for a couple of weeks, and there was something wrong with it, and I was fidgeting with it. And even though I've got it working a couple of weeks ago, it's still got a bit of it's much better than me thing. This one for some reason doesn't. Maybe it's just because it's the cheaper one, therefore I feel, a cheaper one, I can do that. I don't have to be Paul Gilbert, I can just play it normally. So that's obviously a psychological issue, my problem, not the guitar's problem. And the current model Ibanez rg470, which is reissued, which was the original 1987. Basically, it's this guitar, apart from it's got a scratch plate and it's HSH, which this one should be. So basically, this guitar, apart from it's got a scratch plate, they're like 900 quid just now, which is still a pretty good price, because you're getting a pretty stripped down thing. It's like, of that night, it's not like a Harley Benton. It doesn't have the money spent on the Seymour Duncan pickups and the. It's just got good shit on it, not fancy shit. Not loving it. But I mean, I'm kind of. First time I saw it, I was looking at it and going, that'd be amazing for a JPEX guitar, wouldn't it? And it's like, I don't know. I think it might still be one guitar in lieu, because I've got to do Jen's Hall, putting flooring down, so it might be this one that's going in for the chop. Just because it's boring black, I quite like it. I mean, it's understated. It kind of looks like the cheapest one. If you look, there's a Geo that looks very much like this, just basic, just what you need. So but this one with, you know, a paint job like that, which you can't see. It did look. You see what I mean? But it's very much dependent on what colour it is, because this is not the colour. There you can see it's like a sort of purpley, blue Parma Violets colour. Today, when I was doing a video of this the other day, it wasn't. It was more of a reddy purple. So now, just this thing. This is going into the studio with me tonight. This is my Sabbath bass. We're going to try and play Junior's Eyes on this. totally loving it. The more I look at it, the better it gets. The one problem I think a lot of people have with the J-Pax guitars is keep changing mind which one's the best one. I'm maybe thinking that is the best one yet. They're obviously that one's the best one yet as well. And when we had it the first time we went over with the one where it was like the clock face with all the guitars on it, that was the first. That was all the guitars that were made at the time, including my number one. The thing, and I was looked through and going, "Oh, some of these are pure amazing. They're pure." And I was happy. That one, fucking, and it was mine. I already owned it. So it just depends on what mood you're in, what the best one is. Maybe part of the thing we do with this guitar is I've not had to do anything to it, whereas PGM I did a lot of work to that to make it play. So it's kind of, I know what it's like. This one's just like, I've not done anything, I've not touched the truss rods. I did have to unclamp the strings because I couldn't get the E to go quite in tune, but I mean that's fine. You know, if you get a guitar that's actually got strings you can play on it, that's just a bonus. The difference with going to see a guitar that's obviously been looked after and was playing last week. And I'm liking the Invader on the bridge is a nice sound pick up in it. It's very mushy and forgiving, which is the opposite of what the Steve I pickups are. Yeah, there's too much play in that tremolo arm. So I need to take this over to RG Club with Scott, because Scott's not actually seen the PGM since I got it fixed up either. Obviously I haven't mentioned this is fujigen built again, obviously. It wasn't a logo. My pal Dav, I remember maybe about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, was up. You should do a fujigen Friday where you play all your fujigen guitars, and it was like that wouldn't last very long. I don't have any because I didn't have any. The first fujigen guitar, apart from the Casio MIDI guitar, I think that's the only one I had 2 years ago, and then since then they've accumulated maybe a bit more than 2 years ago before lockdown. Now I can't get enough of them. But I mean, these guitars are just fantastic. I think if you're looking just for the best guitar, which is kind of my whole point with the Japanese guitars to start with anyway, it was, okay, now I've grown to love the look and the styling and all that. I do like it. You know, I think that's more interesting than an Epiphone Les Paul. But it was really the reason I got into them was because the quality level's through the roof. And this is basically, it's got a wee bit of that West Tone Thunder thing that I always complain about. Scott's got an rg470 something fluorescent orange one. It's exactly the same as this guitar. It's the same guitar. It's like, okay, it's orange and it's got like two humbuckers, like a blade humbucker and a thing, and maybe not exactly the same Floyd Rose. I think it's got an upside down headstock like that, but it's the same. It's got that thing. Even as Apache attack helicopters kind of got that as well. It just feels a little bit more expensive. It's like it's got an expensive type of brown sauce on it rather than just normal HB. So I wonder if this will survive. I'm very tempted. I'm going to take it over to Jen's tomorrow anyway, to show Scott. But she's already, she's just announced there. She's doing Scott's Joe Satriani guitar, and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be a great idea if you did like a Satriani one and a Vi one next to each other? Scott doesn't want to sell it. It's like, well, you like the guitar, keep the guitar, but Jen's offering to paint it for you. Paint it, and then I think it's partly a publicity thing, because I think the chances are if she did do a Satch guitar, there's a chance that he's actually going to see it. Maybe get some Kujas points or something like that. I'm also taking the Raven and the Purple Bass into the studio tonight, and we're going to do a wee promo thing because we've got a gig in September. So if we're both playing the J-Pax guitars, me and Craig, two guitarists, playing that. Maybe play Paranoid or something like that, and then as a wee advert for our gig. But because it's got the J-Pax guitars in it, being played in a full band, it might get some traction. Maybe get some folk coming to the gig after the end. Yeah. So whether this goes out today or tomorrow, I don't know. I do have the Stag. I've just got to work on. I just figured I wanted to play this because it's my new guitar. I phoned the guy when I was going to go over last night, and it was like, yeah. Is that basically I'm in every night of the week after like 6 o'clock or something, and I was like, yeah. But you see, the thing is, like, see when I've kind of decided I want to pull the trigger on a guitar, I want it now, capital letters. It's like, yeah, I understand. It's like, oh, do you want to wait for 4 days? No, I want to skip dinner and go right now. Was quite a long drive. It's kind of worth it though. Glenrothes is actually where I got my. Oh no, it was Kirkcaldy. Glenrothes is not far away from that. That's where I got the Red Star. So I might have a wee thing about driving over to the East Coast for Ibanez. This is awful good though. With coil splits in it. Oh yeah. It's very unpretentious, which is amazing because I think that is quite pretentious, and it's basically it's exactly the same guitar apart from it's got F holes painted on it. Is the big difference. I suppose this has got a tone control which I've not even touched yet. That works. That apart from that, same guitar. But I would put this above the being a basic model Japanese one is better than the fancier Korean ones and Indonesian ones. I've played a few of them, like Through Neck, Sustainer in it, Iron label, is it? Axios label. They look absolutely stunning, but they're not as good a guitar as this one. I think maybe if you get there will be Japanese ones at a few grand that will be as good as this and fancy, but I will always go for the plain. We didn't spend any money on choosing the wood or paint, making it look nice. We spent all the money on assembly and making it rock. Rock on!